Welcome to Shri and Kira Live, the voice of passionate action, bringing fresh perspectives and timeless wisdom for today's shifting paradigm. Now, it is your moment to open your mind, relax into your body and spirit as we explore the greater meaning of your now experience. Bringing wisdom, laughter, and clarity, here are Shri and Kira.
Namaste and welcome to Shri and Kira Live. I am Shri Ram Ka.
And I am Kira Ra, and welcome, beloved ones, to this extraordinary day in January. I mean, Shri, my heart is just so full right now. You know, we are broadcasting to you live from Tosa Blue Mountain Sanctuary, and it is another glorious day here. And part of the reason it's so glorious is because we're sharing this moment with you right here, right now. Now, we want to give a shout out to BBS Radio. We have no idea what's going on over there, but we don't think we're broadcasting there today for whatever reason. But we also want to give a shout out to all the other places we're broadcasting.
Absolutely.
Beginning with Oneness.
OneNessTalkRadio.com.
Yeah.
And you can catch the video stream at OneNessTalkRadio.com as well as at Facebook and YouTube, official Shri and Kira.
Yeah, so we are so happy you are here today. And of course, you can give us a call, 517-208-1500. Again, that's 517-208-1500. And just you can hear the show while you're holding, so we would look forward to hearing from you. And so, beloved ones, bring a hand to your heart right now. And in this moment, just say thank you to yourself for being here, for being on this planet, for saying yes to this moment, for saying yes to the moment at hand, the year at hand, the decade at hand, the profound shift that is upon us, and then smile into the blessing of you. Because that is where we are at. And January is going to be unveiling a lot of extraordinary energy. It's a beautiful, exquisite opportunity to really open through this profound shift into that visionary transformation through timeline adaptation. And it's a month of experience. So it's like, I just wanted to drop all those bombs first. Here it is, guys.
Every time I hear something that profound, I kind of go, well, wait a minute. Visionary transformation through timeline adaptation.
I know it's a mouthful. I know it is, guys, but it is what's going on.
Well, I can handle one piece of that. Visionary transformation. Let's just start with that.
Because you are that.
Let's start with that.
All right.
Visionary means to have an inspiring, compelling vision, does it not?
Right.
You know, and transformation means I'm ready to morph. I'm ready to be something different. I'm ready to transform. And if we just pause for a second, rather than let those words wash over us as visionary transformation, to have a vision of that which will be, that which is hopefully inspired by your heart and your soul, and to be willing to accept the transformation that will require.
At every level of your consciousness.
Wow.
Right, because it demands going outside of the lines. And we are in, and I mean that with all due respect, because that is why this profound shift energy very much feels like the energy of a square, because it's very defined, yet very profound. And we're going to be showing you in a little later in the show right now, we've charted out all of the energy flows for 2020, and we're going to be showing those to you, and you'll see that this profound shift, which is part of this Dragonfly dance, is actually mirrored this year. And it's like a bookend energy, and we are in it right now. And with that, January being the month of experience energy, you know, remember the overarching energy is always a spiritual energy. It's either awareness, experience, or choice. And so we are in an experience month, we are in an experience year, and we are in an experience decade. And so this is just a real, like even as I'm sharing this, my breath goes, take a moment and really feel that. Really gift yourself with an opportunity that will illuminate you into the energy of this very moment right now. And if you do that, you can experience it. It's about letting go of the mind and pay attention to your breath as we talk about this. I know for me, heart, lots of throat.
Oh, yes. Well,
Whew, yeah. How about you guys?
well, you still had me back at visionary.
Okay.
So yes, the presence. But I just want to really stress this to our audience because to me, this is a very profound moment.
It is, absolutely.
We are being called to step forward in a way that we have not yet fully embraced.
All of us, everyone without exception.
We. And there is a collective here that is responding and a collective that is not responding. And those of you that are responding, as you step forward, you will inspire others to find their heart and to do the very same thing. So visionary transformation, to be authentic, means I have the presence that Kara was talking about. I am present to my authenticity. I'm present to my breath, my heart, my inspiration. I'm present to that which I am, to guide me to that which I shall be.
I've got to breathe on that. And so as you're breathing on that as well, Shri, it brings me to last night. I want to give a shout out to the beautiful, beautiful beings that are still here residing with us at Tosa Blue Mountain Sanctuary in Ecuador. Hi, everybody. We love you.
Yes.
Last night, we had a beautiful closing ceremony because the first part of our journey culminated last night and the second part began this morning. And last evening, it was just so beautiful because we were in the yoga studio and it was night and we were overlooking the whole Andean Valley and the lights and the stars. It was extraordinary. But it was about the rising anchorship of the ascended heart. And that, I think what we shared, and many of you may already know, is that the chakra, the heart chakra, is traditionally represented as a 12-petaled lotus with a Merkaba in the center. And we were very much connected with all of you. We were connected with the energy of this moment. And very much this moment, the January experience, everything you have just described so eloquently in the presence energy, it's about anchoring our heart as our foundational center into that self-ascended state. And last night, I was very humbled and so blessed to be, I felt like we were a proxy for all of you. I felt that there were millions of us gathered there last evening that were saying yes to 2020 by anchoring into our ascended heart and inviting our consciousness, our presence, to illuminate the journey ahead, rather than the other choice, which is to allow the fear to illuminate this choice and to call us out of that fifth dimensional compassionate anchorship back into a third dimensional experience of fear. And so I'm inviting all of you to notice that right now too. What's got your attention? Because density is going to get really, let's just say it's going to have a flourish, because everything is in this amplified energy right now. It's not just one thing. And so are you jumping into that multidimensional presence? And, you know, last night we also did a reading for the world, and it was pretty exciting, guys. I mean, it was really exciting.
We had a fabulous ceremony last night.
Oh, it was amazing.
And you know, I had a couple of takeaways that I'd like to share. One of them is, are you doing ceremony?
Yeah, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's watching this show, because that could be a ceremony.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because ceremony means I'm bringing presence, I'm bringing respect forward.
Yeah.
And I am activating that part of me that is connected to my heart and my guidance.
Right.
Because you know, in conventional terms, they say to become empowered, we need to connect the heart with the brain. Well, to become spiritually empowered, we need the heart connected to our guidance.
Exactly.
The brain gets to watch.
We get to actually grow through it, right? It is a step along the way. Think about the natural progression, right? But we do have to grow through it.
So ceremony most oftenly is associated with ritual, but it doesn't need to be ritualistic. It just needs to be the the loving, respectful presence that I am bringing that energy to bear on an action, on a whether it's saying a mantra, whether it's saying a prayer, whether it's simply acknowledging with reverence certain objects in the room, or your ceremony is as unique as you are. The key is to move into that state of consciousness that would allow this moment to be sacred. Why not do that often?
Oh, I love that. What a great question, Sri. Why not?
Why
you
not?
know, we literally do that daily. And, every year, many of you know, and we'll share if you don't know, that we have a miracle box here at Tosa Blue Mountain, and it's our annual tradition. It's a beautiful, authentic monk's box. It's very, very old. It's a Tibetan antique, and it held, all the ancient, beautiful tablets of all the prayers, and really quite beautiful, the prayer tablets. And every year, we open it once a year on New Year's Eve, where we remove all of the sacred intentions that were placed in for that year, and then they get burned in ceremonial fire when we close the box again, and we place in our miracle manifestations for the year. And we do this every year with the group that's here at New Year's Eve. And then Sri and I also place in intentions for all of us, and for the Mastery Mentorship Miracle Team, and for all that come into the healing light. And so last night, because it was the closing of our first part of the journey that we've done for New Year's Eve, we had the blessing of officially sealing the box for this year.
Yeah, we kind of were in that place because yesterday was the 4th, and we're in the 2020, which is the 4. We said, all right,
perfect balance.
It's now sealed.
Exactly.
And so it was very profound for Kira and I, because we had a moment of just connection with the magic that is upon us.
Yeah, for all of us, guys, all of us.
We are truly at a year that will expand you.
Yeah.
And it will expand that which is not you as well. And so,
you're ready. You're ready for this.
And this is why I don't mean to sound like I'm a preacher talking about certain things, but I do want to preach a little, because
oh, Papa, don't preach.
Because in the environment of expanding energy, what is it you wish to expand? And this is why I wanted to dwell for a moment on presence, and on the sacred, and on your intentions. Because as we practice bringing those into consciousness, we then practice receiving the experience of that, which then foundationalizes our upliftment. It's time to take action in these ways if you would like to have a more expanded spiritual way of being.
Well, and this is just one of the many beautiful gifts of your divine nature that are inviting you to discover during January. Remember that in 2015, Sri and I put out in the 7 Polarities of Free Will program, we identified all of the energies and how they would track from 2015 through 2022. And we've been reading these on all of our shows. And by now you've heard us talk about it. And so one of the things that we said in 2015 would be the 2020 experience is that in the ascended presence energy of this year, it's about sacred trust. And last year was about love. So you get it, the heart, right? It was all about love, and that's what we were talking about earlier in the show today, anchoring your heart in that 5th dimensional ascended presence. And now here we are in 2020, and the energy is trust. And the archangelic realm is the one that always says that trust and love are the same thing. And so of course we would move our ascended heart through trust into the upliftment of our divine nature, which is the ascended presence of this mastery experience year, to have the mastery experience of your divine nature. Or in the density model, it's going to be hopelessness. That is the energy that's coming in. We have literally moved from fear to hopelessness. Well, I think I said that was too many syllables, but that's the word.
Pick an S.
And maybe that was right. It just seems like a big word because the energy is big.
Yeah.
And the key is that if you find yourself feeling futile, if you find yourself wanting to give up, if you find yourself feeling like it's getting hard, then lift yourself up with a smile and going, wow, look at me staring and witnessing density right now. Because that is how density is going to feel. That's the truth. So the key is, this, thereby you have the choice to assist more to see through it by holding enough compassion for yourself to say, you know what, 2020 is a rare, unique opportunity for people of consciousness. We have a real opportunity this year right now. All of us, all of you that thought you were too old or too young or don't know enough or haven't done enough, let that go.
Let it go.
Let it go. All we need to do is reach out and hold each other's hand and say, I see you. And I know who you are, and let's do this. Because that's where we're at. We're at a, hey, let's do this moment.
Well, and as our wonderful guide, Archangel Zadkiel, has said, you will be known by your energy, not
by your words.
Not by your words. And so this is why we don't need no learning. What we need is more trust. And there's not to put down, it's fun to read and learn.
No, we are having so much fun, please.
But I want to offer a little nuance because, every time we're together, I just delight in what is revealed.
Yeah.
The love everyone understands, because love is that state that can be touched whether you're deep in density and you have a moment.
Exactly.
Or whether you're in ascended space. Love is the foundation.
Transcends everything.
For many, it's a goal. For others, it's a support. But trust.
And for some, it can actually be a interesting ride.
Okay. Another conversation. But so I just wanted to offer this nuance. Trust is, you might say from a more conventional standpoint, trust is the loving energy that will allow you to walk through the unknown.
Exactly.
Love is the foundation.
Breathe that in, guys. Breathe that in.
Love is the foundation. Trust will carry you forward. Through the unknown, or the seemingly unknown, because once you enter it, you might all of a sudden go, got it.
Yeah.
Be surprised, be willing. So love and trust are the same from the ascended perspective.
Exactly.
But from the one that is evolving, we need them both. We need to trust that we have enough love, we have enough power, and we can move forward even though we don't have what would be called a crystal clear roadmap.
Well, and that's the gift of the love-trust combination.
Yeah.
It's very much about, as you just described, when we have that love-trust in balance, right? And 2020 is the year of perfect balance. Then in our ascended presence, this is what the archangelic realm has always been referring to, that love and trust just become one. They are inseparable, because in that ascended state, of course the two are one. So one of the ways that we know that we are outside of our highest experience is when we start seeing them as separate.
Yes, well,
and this is another way that we can help ourselves, remind ourselves, hey, where am I aligning right now?
And it brings up a good point, because we are human beings. We need to have patience with our own growth.
Right, of course.
There will be moments when life has created enough circumstances around you that all of a sudden you might be finding yourself mistrustful or doubting or fearful, or all of those common things.
Density giveaways, guys, all of those.
And at some point,
right,
there comes a moment where you step up into the command module once again and you say,
welcome.
Okay, to the container.
Yep.
Clear yourself to the container. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look at the practices.
It's Self-Ascension. No, it's at ShriAkira.com underneath the Yoga of Self-Ascension. We have all kinds of practices there. Learn about the container practice.
That's one way to clear
it's a great way.
All of those congested, nasty little entanglements, and then immediately follow that up with the Living Ankh practice, which is
one of my favorite.
Cleansing energy, which lifts energy up the spine, and then take a look at your problems, seemingly problems. Because solutions are never found at the level of consciousness that generated the complication. Solutions are only found when we're in a peaceful ascended state and we make a new choice and we navigate accordingly. Well, why not do that?
Well, and speaking about the new choice, right, and navigating accordingly. That, remember, guys, we're in an experience month and an experience year. What does that mean? It means that February will be a choice month again, and that is why that energy of trust, that is the permeation of January, is about the invitation into your divine nature. The relaxing, if you caught us live New Year's Eve, or if you've been with us during any of the replays, the ensoulment that came through, it completed an extraordinary cosmic initiation, activation. People were calling it DNA activations. But it ended with the energy of relax. Relax into who you are. That in this year, if you can relax into that presence, you can give yourself the gift of flying in ways you have never flown before. And that is the blessing that is before us all right now, is that everything, we've been talking about this for 2 weeks now, the ascended numerology, the zodiac of the Chinese, which is why this whole 25th of January is going to see a big, it's going to be like an amp of everything in January, because that's when the year of the rat's going to come in. It's a metal rat that we're going to have a lot more flow, a lot more water energy is going to be coming around. So this is going to be an opportunity for a convergence if we allow it to be. And we talked a lot about this on yesterday's show, and I don't want to take too much time from today's show, so make sure you go back and watch yesterday's show. Sri, where can they watch yesterday's show, Explore the Mysteries?
Explore the Mysteries. Actually, it's at both of the YouTube channels that we broadcast to, and that is Oneness Talk Radio, as well as Official Sri and Kira. Just poke around, Explore the Mysteries, and look for the date of...
yesterday, the 4th. Yeah, right? Is today the 5th? Yes,
Quattro.
It is the 4th. All right. Well, Sri, I really, in this, I wanted to talk about the up-leveling, because, we talked a lot about this yesterday, and that's why I'm encouraging you to go listen to yesterday's show. But I want to expand from that knowing that we are all in 2020 in an extraordinary up-level moment, and in the recognition of the neutrality of this up-level energy. Mm-hmm. This is something that is really worth looking at, because when we rapidly up-level, when all the doors are seemingly open, everything is visible. And so the biggest drawback that some people will feel is a sense of either overwhelm or deservability or deniability. Ooh. But all of this is a potential. Yeah. So along with the flourishing, there are all these other almost like limitless opportunities in the up-level experience, and this is why I want to talk about it and how to navigate it.
Well, and it may be time for each of you to kind of pause and say, how do I receive energy? How do I respond to it?
Right.
Because each of us...
What's got your attention?
We carry within us layers of identities.
Right.
We've identified with our mind to a certain extent. We've identified with our body to a certain extent. And then there is the aspect we call the inner child, which is a quality of the ego self.
Right.
So we have these various identities, and any one of them can flare when this energy comes in, the up-leveling comes in. So what's your favorite flare?
Or not, because here's the other aspect of this, and this is why the up-level conversation is something Sri and I are going to be talking about quite a bit, because you know what, Sri, let's go ahead, let's put up, I want to show them the energy flows while we're talking about this, because I think if you guys can look at this, now if you're listening to us on audio, we will describe it, but for those of you that are actually watching us right now, you'll see that we just put up, this is my 2020 Year of Mastery Experience year flow chart. So you know that every year I put out a chart that shows you, and then I update these throughout the year. However, this is my first update. Those of you that have been watching before, you know that we already had, if we were looking at this chart, we already had that lovely rose kind of double arrow there between January and August being, it's going to be like one energy, but remember, all of this needs to be seen multidimensionally. So during the New Year experience, the divine directors clearly showed that these are the energy flows for the year. And I wanted to get these out to you right away because I started talking about this earlier about January specifically. So if you look at the little key, I just want to kind of tune you in how to read this chart. So down in the bottom right, you'll see there's that square, and that's the profound shift energy. Now these three energies, profound shift, visionary transformation through timeline adaptation, and the awakening to self-ascension, These are what the dragonfly, this dance of the dragonfly, has ignited. These are the energies that are qualifying this as quote unquote a dragonfly year, whereas last year we were in the year of the divine lotus. And that culminated with the opening or the anchoring of the 12-petaled lotus of the ascended heart with the internal Merkaba spinning. Now, if you look again at this square of profound shift, this is what I was mentioning earlier. It actually squares January, February, and September. And so you really want to pay attention because January is an experience, February is a choice. What happens January, February is not only going to seed through August, but in September, it's going to once again create more profound shift. These 3 months are going to travel together. Conversely, or just on the balancing end of that, remember this is year of perfect balance, right? Perfect balance with the double infinite. July and August are going to have a very similar overlay with January and February in that they will be moments of profound shift. And what happens in July and August is also going to get an amp in December. Now, if you notice, the reason I have the hands lifted and the way the angel wings are is because if you look at February and July, these are the months that we can really help support all of the universe. These are the months when we are going to be invited, right? We're making, first of all, in February, you're making that first choice. The January energy that you embody right now, your mastery opportunity, your ability to stay in the fifth dimension in that compassionate overview, this is all leading to, do you see what looks like a pyramid in the middle there? It rises up from the corner of the first profound shift box, and then it rises up from the corner of the second, and it goes right up, and it's the heart of the dragonfly. Well, imagine right now if you're staring at the heart of the dragonfly and you watch it start flying up, and it lifts all of this up. And now you are that being in divine communion that's pictured here, and you're gazing straight up through your crown chakra, and you're seeing this in its totality. That's the awaken to self-ascension. You see that? It looks like a planetary cycle. That is the ellipsis of energy that has come forward and is inviting us all to really see what's going on and lift through it, anchor through it, flourish through it as we remember the truth of our divine nature. And so I don't know about you, Shri, but that just brings tears to my eyes because it's a moment for all of us to achieve our dreams.
Well, and you know, one of the things that I appreciate is there is a simple profundity in the way Akira has depicted this graphic.
Thank you.
The more you stare at that, you'll begin to see it
You'll
dimensionally.
see it move, right? You get it, guys?
Yeah, oh, it's warm. Excuse me.
It got hot in here.
It's summer in Ecuador
It
right
is, and it's glorious today. A lot of people are in our pool right now.
But I just want to say, be with this because it's beyond the superficial. Be with the flow of these energies. And this brings us back to the entire conversation of up-leveling.
Right, exactly.
Because
literally,
up-leveling means that spirit, that all that is making available additional resources that will assist the expansion of consciousness.
Yes.
And the expansion of sentient beings at all levels. Yeah. So consider for a moment, I jokingly asked earlier, how do you handle up-level or how do you process the extra energy because we have these various layers of identities. The only reason I brought that up is sometimes we don't know that we've been triggered or that we have been juiced in some way until a certain part of us becomes front and center.
Exactly.
Sometimes, for me, when I have been working long hours and I get a burst of energy, I actually get irritable. I actually find myself getting kind of short. And that's my signal that I'm up leveling and I need to breathe and move past that one little aspect of me that was trying to hang on, and now is frustrated or irritated. And that's just one example. Each of us, it could be more of the emotional sensitivity. Mm-hmm. Sometimes when the energy rises, we feel more tender.
Yeah, frequently.
sometimes when the energy rises, we feel more animated. Sometimes we feel more spacey. Play with this. I know you've all experienced it. And speaking of all experiencing it, I peeked over at YouTube while the graphic was up, and I just want to say hello to everyone that's over there. So much love and greetings and Happy New Year's going on. And hey, we love you. We're
so much. Thank you.
We're really glad that you're participating, and keep on going. Bring friends in and let everyone feel it, because the experience is one of energetic oomph, which then is brought through the emotions, the body, the mind, the spiritual intuition.
Right.
It's brought through all your capacities, and in the bringing through, the up-leveling is brought through all these aspects of who you are and could be. You may discover that certain qualities expand, certain fields expand. You might become more auditory. You might become more telepathic. You might have greater dream time activity. But just smile at it. It's happening.
And January is calling it forward in ways that it has never called it forward before. And, Shri, we have so much more to share about that. I can't believe we're already in the second half of the show. We have had so many people holding for so long. And so why don't we invite in some of these gorgeous people that have been holding for so long? All right.
I'll
Please.
tell you what.
All right. Where are we going?
Let's head to Florida.
Hey, Florida. All right. Namaste. Welcome.
Hello, dear.
Hello.
Hi, namaste. Welcome.
Hi. Namaste. Hi, this is Sherwood.
Hi, Sherwood.
Welcome.
I'm looking for mini reading, if possible.
Well, of course it's possible. And thank you for asking. So, Sherwood, take a breath. Because as I'm connecting with you, just really, really allow yourself to just, relax. It's interesting. It's like right in your third chakra, I see this, it's like a vibration or a fluctuation energy. And it's one of those energies that carries with it kind of like that double entendre. It's excited as it's nervous. It's happy as it's sad. It's wanting yet it's afraid. And it's like this energy is so close to the top of your energy field that it's like it's asking you, why are you not letting me go? Why am I still here? And the question is coming from an old energy that doesn't need to be around anymore, and from the depth of who you really are that is saying, hey, give me a shot here. We can do this. And that's the message that's coming in around you. And I am honored and thank you for such a beautiful connection. Many blessings. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you, sweetheart. Take a breath. Everybody take another breath, because I want to just share that I really honor and respect Sherwood, because that was a very authentic, raw connection.
Yeah.
And when I have the honor of meeting with someone like that, I know that beautiful, beloved being is carrying for all of us. So how many of us right now have that little shadowy hesitancy that's kind of right there in your third chakra going, what do you want me to do? You want me to stay or go? And that's part of that, what you and I have been sharing so much is also happening in January, guys, that sacred union body-soul energy. That's part of that final remnant that says, are you going to trust me or not?
Yes.
Right?
Well, and allow me to speak to the third chakra for a moment. Because the third chakra is indeed the roadblock to remaining anchored in the heart. The third chakra is about power. Yep. And in the density psychology, power means I have control over something. I have control over my body, or I have control over other people.
Or something.
Yeah. It's a sense, it's driven by remember the fear-based context of density, therefore I need control. Right. I need to have power over it. Now, that's the old model. When we move into the journey of living an ascended life, the power center becomes one of trusting our authenticity and empowering our spiritual nature to guide and permeate through the muscular system. So our power is one of flow. of working with things and feeling safe without a need to control. And that's a big leap to move from control to trust, because the third chakra is about trusting your spiritual nature. And that allows us to lift into the heart center and foundationalize it.
And I got to jump in here, Sri, because if you learn about the yoga of self-ascension, one of the gifts of the yoga of self-ascension is that you learn through certain techniques how to transform the first, second, and third chakra. Instead of the traditional being, first chakra safety, second chakra sex, third chakra power, right? Safety, sex, power, gets transformed into true peace.
Yes.
Self-love, and authentic joy. And it's that ascended presence of the joy in the third chakra that supports the sustenance of that ascended heart. And so I had to jump in because it's just such an important aspect of this.
And there's a real synergy there, because
exactly.
Joy doesn't happen if you have some fear and doubt working.
Right, and it's temporary, and it's not authentic joy. There's a difference between emotional joy and authentic joy. Sri and I have written about this in a lot of our books. And when we can move into that authentic joy, it can never be taken away. And that's when the body gets to that moment of becoming a partner with the soul.
Yes.
And that sacred union, the true twin flame, the sacred union of the divine, comes forward and anchors, and your life becomes extraordinary.
And so there's a dance that happens as we cultivate our empowerment.
Exactly.
There will be moments when our third chakra is triggered because we're feeling uncertain. Something's gone on, the other shoe's about to drop. All of those things that happen as we evolve into a true divine trust, telling our inner child, it's okay, I've got this. We're going to be fine.
Right.
And calming down that part of you and moving into the heart, and then just watching things unravel and re-ravel in a way that is more supportive. And once we breathe through that a few times, using our spiritual tools as necessary, then the foundation is really there.
Yeah.
It's a back and forth for a while.
Well, and this is the compassion the Buddhists talk about. It is that when we lift into that the compassion that begins with the love of self, to have compassionate forgiveness around all that is, that's how you know you're in the fifth dimension. It's just that simple. Because in that compassionate anchorship, you are already in a state that is transcending the judgment that would seek to keep you out of it. And as you hold that state, it is that continued release of judgment that lifts you into the seventh dimensional state. And these states of being, this is one of the things that I think is the big wow moment of 2020, and that January has already called forward, and that you and I are actually living in the moment. We are now at a moment whereby, for the first time ever, guys, ever, in all of our co-creative illusions and these timeline adaptations, this is one of the very, very few whereby we have evolved enough to be able to call the consciousness into an elevated state of being in union with a body that can accept the frequency, thereby sustaining a greater amount of highly evolved conscious individuals on the planet than ever before. We have an opportunity to be more than 10 or 12 in a cave. We have an opportunity to be millions. But it takes spiritual tenacity, and it takes focused commitment.
Yes.
And it's not for everybody. However, as you so gloriously say, and has been said by so many other beautiful masters, one of us attaining this frequency offsets a minimum of 100,000 others. And at certain frequencies, you start offsetting in the seven figures.
Yes.
And so it doesn't take a lot, but it does take enough. And you're already watching this because you know something has activated inside.